Hello, hello, hello. Welcome to Courageously Kind. I'm Maddie.
And I'm Liz.
And this is a disclaimer. Ooh, scary. This is a disclaimer. This episode will be our first and last political episode. We don't plan on using this podcast to really talk about politics.
That's not who we are or what we're about.
We're about kindness, period. And while there are, we have political beliefs, we're humans.
Right.
We all have political opinions and beliefs. But you hear enough of that.
We're not going to force.
And we don't feel
anything on you.
educated enough to talk about political issues.
Of course not.
Maybe someday we'll have a guest that wants to come and talk about an issue that's important to them. But at this time, we are just focused on talking about kindness and our message of kindness. But this is going to be a political episode. So, buckle up. That wasn't planned. We just said that at the same time. Twin things.
But I promise you, by the end of this, you listening and we here will find some common ground. I promise you we will agree on something.
Yes.
We're not going to leave. This isn't a debate. This isn't an argument.
This isn't to divide anyone. So I think regardless of what your beliefs and your opinions are, maybe you will find this episode to be enjoyable and you'll learn something.
Yeah.
So, that being said, let's talk politics.
Oh, I'm
Scary. I'm scared too. You might be thinking, oh my gosh, what are they going to say? For those of you who are outside of the U.S., you may or may not know that Election Day is coming up. It'll be this week, Tuesday.
So, when you're listening to this, either you'll be getting ready to vote, maybe you've already voted early, or maybe you're listening to this after Tuesday, and it's all over.
We are recording this before Tuesday. But anyways, so if you've never experienced an election in America, right now the media is flooded with political ads, and pretty much everyone I know is talking about this election. But we wanted to offer a perspective that maybe you have never thought about before and could bring you some comfort and some peace in this crazy time. Originally, we were going to talk about perspective this week, the importance of seeing things from another perspective. I'm reading a book right now, and it talks about kindness, and the last chapter I read was about how we can be kind to people even when they are unkind to us by putting things into perspective.
It's so difficult. It's so easy to be kind to your friends or your family who are normally very kind to you. It's easy to give kindness when you're receiving kindness.
Absolutely.
But it's so hard to give kindness to people that either don't want it or won't give it back.
Yeah. So a really helpful way to have the courage to be kind to someone who doesn't want to show kindness to you is to put things into perspective. Negativity only comes from negativity. So if that person is lashing out and being unkind to you, there's something deeper going on. In the book I mentioned before, it talked about emotional regulation and how when we don't know how to regulate our emotions, we can end up lashing out and being unkind. So maybe, just maybe, consider this perspective. If someone's being unkind to you, not treating you with kindness, consider that possibly they don't have the tools that they need to regulate their emotions, and they're just acting out.
It's so interesting because often when there's a confrontation or argument or negativity, we want to place the blame.
Yeah.
We want to say it's your fault, this is happening, or it's your fault that I'm feeling this way. And sometimes it's not anybody's fault. Like you were saying, sometimes people just don't know how
to navigate what they're going through.
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. I read this quote. It said, "People do well when they can." So when we're given the tools and we've learned the mechanisms to regulate our emotions, then we can have constructive conversations. And then we can show kindness to people that don't want to show kindness to us. We just need the tools.
Yeah. And I think it's so difficult when you're seeing something or you're hearing something that you don't agree with. It's so easy to want to voice that, well, I don't agree with that. I don't think that's right, or I don't think that is the way it should be. It's so easy to make that personal.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
We say, well, your opinion doesn't align with my opinion, so you're dumb, or you're not educated, or you're this or you're that. But when we kind of take ourselves back and say, you know what, you're a human being too, and you deserve respect and dignity, regardless of how you feel, and regardless of how I feel.
Absolutely. And I think part of the reasons why debates get so hostile, particularly between friends or family, debates, regarding something like politics, which is so polarizing, I think sometimes the hostility comes into play when someone doesn't feel like they're being heard. Someone doesn't feel like the other person is understanding what they're saying, because we can be really set in our beliefs. Once we believe something, we can, really want to hang on to that belief because we believe that we're right. I don't think anyone would defend a belief that they know is wrong. They believe that they're right.
Right.
I think hostility comes from not feeling seen and not feeling heard. So when we can detach emotionally from a conversation or a confrontation and begin to say, I don't understand your point of view, I don't see where you're coming from, explain it to me. Or if we can begin to say, I don't understand what you believe, and that's okay.
Yeah, I definitely think we need to talk less and listen more.
Absolutely. And try and see things from another person's perspective. We don't just believe the things we believe for nothing. We were either taught those beliefs or those beliefs were formed by our experiences. Listening is so important. Listening and understanding go hand in hand. Not always. You need to make sure you're understanding. But it's okay to not understand someone. Yeah. It's okay to say, I don't understand, but I respect you. Yeah. So the bottom line of this episode is, 1, to see things from another perspective. Try and put yourself in someone else's shoes. Try and ask yourself, why does this person believe what they believe? And number 2, I just totally forgot my train of thought.
Number 2 is to always be rooted in kindness.
Yes.
Everything you do, make it come from a place of love. And before you say something, or before you post something, think, is this rooted in love?
Yes, absolutely.
Is this gonna, make somebody think better or worse?
Yeah. Yeah. Have the courage to show kindness even when kindness isn't there. Have the courage to show love to the people who show you hate. Because there are people that hate out there. For whatever reason, they can't regulate their emotions, or they are traumatized and don't know how to deal with it. There are people that hate. But it is so courageous to be able to show them kindness and to show them love. Liz and I were talking before this podcast, and we believe that our purpose on this earth, on this beautiful planet, is to love, is to show love and to show kindness. And that is so easy to show love to people who love us. But it's difficult to show love to the people that hate us. There's so much hate in the world. For a multitude of reasons. We could go into all the reasons, but then this podcast would be longer than 15 minutes, and that's not really on brand for us. There's so much hate in the world. Have the courage to show love. It's admirable. It's honorable.
It's courageous.
It's courageous. And I assure you, once you start to show love and open your heart to love, love will come in, even in the face of hatred. So that's it for our first and last only political episode.
You know, I think this week is going to be a challenge of showing kindness.
Of showing kindness. There's a lot of hostility.
Yeah. But I think you can do it. I think we can do it.
I believe in us. You're all so courageous.
Yes, and you can do it.
And you can do this.
You can be kind.
We love you so much, regardless of anything. Of your beliefs, of your opinions. You're entitled to those. And we love you. And if you are rooted in love and kindness,
that's all you need.
That's all you need.
Thank you for tuning in.
Thank you so much for tuning in. I'm sorry for our international listeners for talking about the election so much. But I think you can learn something from this. I think this is applicable to not just our American listeners.
Yeah.
So, we love you so much. More than you could ever know. Thank you for all your support. It warms our hearts.
And we'll see you back here real soon.
Bye!